to Professor Sukenik, because Skander realized right away that we are speaking about something that is the biggest treasure that you can buy, that you can find written to the world, because we have over here something from the Dead Sea Scrolls. He also believed that we might find some history about Jesus as well over there because of the period of time. Well, didn't find about Jesus, find about John the Baptist, but it's almost as good. Because John the Baptist stayed with the Dead Sea sect for 3 years, nearly to 3 years. So Skander made a telephone call to Professor Sukenik and told him, he was the head of the archaeological department in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. And he said, Professor Sukenik, I have something over here that you're definitely going to take. Bring with you all your money that you have home, borrow from the neighbors, and for everybody else that you can bring the money. So Professor Sukenik realized right away that if Skander is calling him, that means it's something that he should do what he said. And he really borrowed the money and everything, took his briefcase, took the bus from Jerusalem, right from over here. He used to live in Rehavia to Bethlehem. And over there at Skander house, he saw those 6 parchment and parchment and 1 scroll made out of copper. He said, nothing to do with the copper. I'm going to take the 6 of them. But the money was enough only for 3. So he told him, you're going to owe those 3. Sunday I will return with more money and I will buy it. On the way from Bethlehem to Jerusalem, he heard the shooting and everything, and he know he's not going to make it to Bethlehem any longer, because the day was 29th of November 1947. This was exactly when the partition plan was accepted in the UN. So meanwhile, delegation went over there to Qumran, a lot of pieces, and we had like 3 scrolls. One of them was a book of Isaiah, one of them was a book of Psalms. I don't remember what was the third one. And we thought that we lost contact with the first version of the Bible that we know. And then in 1953 or 54, I don't remember exactly the year, Sukenik's son, Professor Yigael Yadin, also professor of archaeology, he was in the US. He was in the US to raise money for the university, but I don't know as what he went there, or as archaeology, or as a former commander of the IDF, because he was a major general as well, and he was a former commander of the IDF. He was sitting over there with his pipe. He always used to be with a pipe. Remember, this was a period that smoking was allowed. Sitting in his hotel, reading the Wall Street Journal, and over there he saw an ad, Dead Sea Scroll to sell, contact P.O. Box Tatam Tatam. So he did contact them. He contacted them, he found out those are the 3 missing scrolls. What was the price? What is the requested price? Not so much. $250,000. Even today, it is a lot of money, right? It's even over my daily pay. But even today, it's a lot of money. Back there, the cost of one plane to the Israeli Air Force was $25,000. So you speak about 3 scrolls versus a squadron of planes. He didn't know what to do. Obviously, he didn't have the money. He decided to call to Ben Gurion. He had to wait 24 hours. And why? Not because the Ben Gurion didn't have time to talk to him. It was only one line in between United States and Israel. And he got his time was only after about like 24 hours. And Ben-Gurion told him, "You're going to buy the scrolls." He said, "I don't have the money." He said, "You're going to borrow the money and you're going to buy it, because a nation without a past don't have a future." So he borrowed the money from the Gottesman family in New York, real estate, and he came back over here with the 3 missing parchment. Everybody was happy, ta-tam, ta-tam, ta-tam. And then he said, "Sorry to break the party, but I have to give back the money. I gave my word." So then Teddy Kollek, remember I did mention the mayor of Jerusalem who built more than Herod, including this museum, not only the Shrine of the Book, the entire Israeli museum. It's also Teddy Kollek. He raised the money for it. So Teddy Kollek at that time was not the mayor of Jerusalem. He was the chief of staff of Ben-Gurion office, like the general manager of the prime minister office. He said to Yigael Yadin, "Professor, for whom you borrow the money?" And he said, "From the Gottesman family." He said, "From now on, leave it to me." The bottom line was that the Gottesman family not only did not receive even a penny out of this $250,000, they even donate the money to build a museum for them.
Oh, wow.
This is Teddy Kollek. However, this is not the end of it, because the Gottesman family had one condition, actually 2. And what they wanted is, first of all, to be built in Jerusalem, and secondly, they wanted that the architecture would be their son-in-law. Their son-in-law was an architect. The only problem was that their son-in-law was an architect who never built a house in his life. He was a teacher. He was a teacher. It's not going to work with Teddy Kollek. So Teddy Kollek said, "No problem. Will you," well, he said something like this, "Can I connect it with somebody else and they can work together?" So Kisler, the architect, said, "Yeah, why not? I would love to." So those 2 inexperienced architecture, Kisler and Bartos, built the museum for the Dead Sea Scroll, and I will explain about the museum as soon as we're going to walk there. Not only did they build just a museum, it became to be a landmark in the world of architecture, the way how they built it. Now, as we walked in, we saw like funny shaped white dome, right? You remember? We saw funny shaped white dome. And there is a black hole over a black wall over there as well. We're going to walk now to the direction of the museum, and I will explain about what we're going to see.